hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another video. This is my 25 in 2025, so it's my 25 most anticipated reads for this year. I was originally thinking of not including any books from previous years' lists in this one. However, I just thought I'd leave it and try and maybe if I want to, if I don't read it this year, I'm gonna have to unhaul it or something like that. But I will just see. This year I need to focus on university, not reading, so I guess I haven't really had any concrete goals as well and things like that, but I do want to try and get to these 25 books desperately. And what I was thinking of doing maybe is, if I don't read them this year, in January or something next year, I have to just read them and then I have to unhaul it or something, or if I don't, something like that. But we shall just see. But I do have basically all the ones that I didn't read last year, apart from one or two on this list. The ones that I did read obviously aren't coming on this list. Also, we have People in History by Felice Picano, because I read the majority of it last year but I didn't finish it, but I do want to finish it this year, but I won't be able to. And also I've taken off The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. For the ones that was on there from the previous years, I can't remember how long they were, if it was one or two, but one that I currently have left in Birmingham is At Least This I Know by Zaina Arafat. This is about a queer Palestinian American woman living in New York and just trying to navigate her life, I guess, in a way. But I don't have the full synopsis. A Certain Point to Be Touched by Lauren John Joseph. This is about sort of a narrator that is thinking back to their first love 10 years ago on that character's birthday, and it's sort of meant to be set in London, San Francisco and New York, as sort of a coming of age tale, and sort of talk about queerness and stuff as well. But yeah, this sounds so good. I so want to read it. Then also we have Patsy by Nicola Dennis Benn. I think it's going to be about a mother and a daughter that moved from Jamaica to America, and sort of about trying to live there, and also things from their past. And I believe the daughter is queer. I'm not sure. I remember I got it in Bristol, and it always reminds me of when I went there. But yeah, I really want to read this. I'm gonna stop saying that because that's clear for every book here. All the Young Men by Ruth Coker Burks with Kevin Caro O'Leary. This is about a woman who was a nurse, I believe, and cared for so many young men that were dying during the AIDS crisis in America, and about sort of the laws and the politics and things that weren't being done to help them, and also the lack of friends and family that were there to support them, and sort of this lost generation of queer men. And yeah, I really want to read her story and what she done. Shuggy Bane by Douglas Stewart. I think it's about a boy sort of growing up in Glasgow, quite impoverished. I believe his mother suffers with addiction, and he's also, I believe, coming to terms with his own queerness. I do really want to read this, but it is quite long, and I think that's sort of putting me off a bit. But hopefully soon, because I have had this for a long time. Next up, The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I do have the original edition in Birmingham, which is the one I probably will read when I go back. This is the uncensored version. I think it's about a man that has a painting pictured, and he sort of sells his soul in a way or something, and the picture ages instead of him aging. It's really quite camp and sort of gothic and stuff, and I'm really excited to give this a read. Next is The First in Maya Angelou, Icon Queen. I love her. Her autobiography, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. And yeah, this is basically just her autobiography when she's a child, still growing up in the South as a little black girl. A Single Man by Christopher Isherwood. This is about a man that loses his boyfriend or lover at the time in the 50s, and sort of navigating that, and also I guess talks about being queer in the 50s in America. I haven't read anything by Isherwood, but I really do want to read his works. Everyone in this Room Will Someday Be Dead by Emily Austin is about a queer woman that accidentally applies for like a job at a church, and she's also like an atheist. It's sort of about like that, like discussions, I guess, but also she starts getting like messages, or like the previous person that had her job has like is missing or something like that, and she's sort of like trying to work out that, I believe. But I think it's maybe quite like funny and like witty, but also I guess we'll talk about like quite important topics and discussions as well. Girl in Snow by Daniel Kafka. I put this on here because I loved Notes and Execution in 2023. I have actually since read this in early January, but that doesn't change the fact that it is going on this list, and I have achieved reading it. But it's about like people that were connected to this girl like being found murdered, and it's like their different POVs over like a few days, and it's been a focus on the people connected to the crime instead of the actual crime itself, and about like how we are and who we are when we're being watched or not watched in a sense. And yeah, but I won't say any of my thoughts, this is just the listing of the books. The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. I am actually currently reading this, and I'm going to be taking it with me on the train tomorrow because I'm going back up tomorrow. But yeah, this is about a young black girl in America, and like the 1940s, sort of understanding the oppression she faces having black skin, and her like, I guess, desire to have like blue eyes and blonde hair and things. I believe, I'm not fully sure, I haven't like fully really read much of it, but all I know is that it's like such a classic, and it's Toni Morrison's debut, and I really want to read more by Morrison, so great place to start. Turning My Daughter by Kim Hae-jin, translated from Korean by Jamie Chang. This is from the perspective of a Korean mother, and her daughter is gay, and she's like trying to come to like the terms with her like having a girlfriend, and I guess like their relationship. And I'm going to talk about sort of like aging and love and relationships, and like who we are. Stone Blind by Natalie Haynes is, I believe, is like a Medusa retelling. It's all I basically know about it, and it's all I want to know about it. I don't really know the full story of Medusa, but I want to read her story, and I haven't read anything by Natalie Haynes before, and I didn't read any mythology like books in 2024 really, so I do want to get back on that because I remember enjoying them quite a lot the previous year, so yeah, hopefully. And finally, of the ones that were left over, is The Puppy War by R.F. Kuang. I don't really know what it's about. It's like a fantasy historical book following different characters, and yeah, I would like to possibly read the series this year. I do really want to check out her new book, Catabasis. I believe it comes out in August, and I was like saying to myself, if I don't read all three books, all three like big books in this trilogy, I won't be able to buy it. So maybe it'll push me to read them so I can get it, or it just means I won't read them. But we shall see. Next is the new additions for this year's anticipated reads. The first is Passing by Nella Larson. This is sort of a replacement for The Vanishing Half, because I believe it talks about like similar themes about these two sisters that can pass as black or white, and about how they go like in different directions, and like that sort of how life treats them in a sense. But I wanted to put like another classic on here, and also I wanted like a bit of a shorter book, and I do really want to read this, so hopefully it will be good and insightful. Then I have 3 books by authors that I loved their works in 2024, so I thought I'd put more of their books on here. The first is Her Body and Other Parties by Carmen Maria Machado. Absolutely adored In the Dream House. I don't really know what this is about. It's a collection of short stories, but yeah, that's all I really have to say about it. Next is The Woman Destroyed by Simone de Beauvoir. It's translated from French by Patrick O'Brien. Technically it's like a novella, but it's like diary entries, which is the titular one, and then there's also like 2 short stories in here as well. But this is meant to be about 3 different women that are trapped in their like circumstances and trying to sort of like rebuild their lives. And yeah, I absolutely adored The Inseparables. It was so good, so well written, such like a great story, and just like spoke about so much. So I really want to check out more by Simone de Beauvoir, and this hopefully will get read this year. And then also I have the poetry collection Night Sky of Exit Wounds by Ocean Vuong. absolutely loved On Earth We Live is Gorgeous, second best of the year, but sort of joint first. This is a very short poetry collection. It's his debut, and I just felt like that book was written so beautifully. It's a harrowing story, but yeah, I really wanted to check out his poetry, so hopefully this should get read. I mean, if it doesn't, I have no excuses. I literally have no excuses at all. Technically in that same category is The Secret Life of Albert Einstein by Matt Cain, but he is like my favorite author, like officially. As soon as I got it, I did want to read it like straight away. However, I was like, I need to pace myself. And I don't think he has a new book coming out this year, so I was like, I'm just gonna wait until 2025 to read this, and it might be the best of the year because he's done it 2 years in a row. But yeah, it's about like an aging postman. I believe he's like in his 60s and he's like about to retire, like nobody like really like knows that much about his like life, but separately he's a postman, but he wants to sort of be his true self in a way. And also thinking back to a past love with another man, and sort of like I think he goes about trying to rekindle this, and it just sounds so adorable and sweet, and like I just love the way he creates characters and their experiences, and I just love his books so much. So hopefully I will love this too, and I think this is like a definite read that I will read this year. So yeah, I feel like I can already recommend it without reading it. Then we have Elena Knows by Claudia Pineros, translated from Spanish by Francis Riddle. I believe it's about a woman who finds out her daughter apparently died by suicide, but she doesn't believe this is true, and I think she has dementia. I'm not 100%, but it's about her sort of like trying to uncover what happened to her daughter, and yeah, cannot wait. Love in the Big City by Sang-yeon Park, translated from Korean by Anton He. This is about two characters that like live in Seoul, and it's about like going out at night and sort of like clubbing in a way, but also like the early mornings after, and just like navigating their lives. And I believe they're both queer, and I wanted to read this since I picked it up like 2 years ago now, but I haven't. And also there's a new film that recently came out, so I'd like to read this and then maybe watch that and see the differences and things. But yeah, so many people have loved this, so hopefully I will do too. Neon Roses by Rachel Dawson. This I don't know how to pronounce her name, and I would need to look it up, so I'm not going to try and butcher it. But it's about a woman that is in 1984 in the Welsh Valleys, and the mines are sort of like shut. There's like strikes. Her sister, I believe, is like has a boyfriend that's sort of like a Thatcherite police officer or something, I think, yeah. And her boyfriend is like wanting her to get married and stuff, but then the lesbians and gay support the minor group come to raise funds and like talk with the miners here, and they're like the relationship they build. And she meets a woman that's from like London, sort of like an artist and activist, and she sort of like inspires like, okay, maybe I'm not fully straight, and yeah, that's sort of about the story. And it says here that I just think sounds so good. It's a heartwarming, funny, and a little bit filthy queer coming of age story with a cracking 80s soundtrack, and I love books set in the 80s so much. So yeah, I cannot wait to read this. And also I want to read more books by Welsh authors. And also I was thinking of putting a book on here that is actually translated from Cymraeg, but I'm not wholly interested in the story, but I do still want to really badly read it. But yeah, I cannot wait to get to this. It just looks and sounds so fun. Finally, for what I've got here at the moment is Bright Young Woman by Jessica Knoll. I got this was the first book I got last year, and I wanted to read it as soon as I picked it up, but I just didn't the whole year, and I don't know why. But this is sort of like inspired by like the Ted Bundy massacres, like sprees, and it follows these different characters in different time frames, survivor and also the friend of someone that was kidnapped, and how they sort of like work together, I guess, to like try and like figure out what's to catch him in a sense. But yeah, so many people have said this is like amazing. It was like their best of like 2023, so that's why I wanted to pick it up and read it. And also loads of people have enjoyed it last year, so I'm so hoping I can get to this and enjoy it as well. I guess also I know like the themes and like what it's about, but I believe it's meant to like say quite a lot and also talk about like how like serial killers are sort of like celebritized, or you know, a lot of like attention like media and like shows and things about them, and sort of like reframing it to focus more on the victims or the survivors in a sense, and the families of victims, which I think is going to be very insightful. And then what I don't have with me that I've left in Birmingham is Intermezzo by Sally Rooney, because it's about two brothers that are quite different, and their father dies, I think, and it's sort of about like navigating grief and just like where they are now in their lives. I love Sally Rooney so much, as soon as I got this, I pre-ordered it, but I haven't picked it up yet, and I don't know why, so hopefully when I go back I shall start reading that. And also there is We Are Together Because by Kerry Andrew. I read their book Skin this year and I did really enjoy it. I think it's about like 4 friends, or possibly part of the same family, but like they're not like related, and they're like at like a beach or like a summer house or something, and just like talking about stuff. I'm not really too sure, but the cover is beautiful. I know I enjoyed their book last year, so hopefully this will go one better and get a 5-star. Anyway, hope you enjoyed today's video, and I so badly want to read these books. How many I will read, I do not know, but I am anticipating them. So yeah, check them out if you want, and I shall see you very soon. Have a nice morning, every night, wherever you are in the world. Bye.